Welcome back, folks, to episode 224 of Hashtag AskGSM here today for March 14th, 2018. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. WrestleMania merely 25 days out. Looking like it's going to be a great show on paper. Very much looking forward to it. We got a bunch of questions coming in from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You know, the usual. But this was a last-minute decision. So this morning I'm sitting down ready to record, and I'm shooting an idea around in my head. Why don't we just get Mr. Marceau on the show? He's got a snow day today. He's around. He's free. The working man's got a couple hours off. Let's get him here on the show. So, RJ, welcome back to Hashtag AskGSM. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. Thanks for having me back on.
Of course. The people are always clamoring for more RJ. I did not advertise it as such. This is kind of a surprise, probably bigger shock than the Hardy Boys returning at WrestleMania 33 when we were there last year. Otherwise, they would have advertised it as Hashtag AskRJ. And we might have gotten more questions, but the questions we got for today's episode are still pretty solid. But how's it been hanging, Mr. Marceau? How you been lately?
It's been good. A lot of snow up here in the Northeast. About 20 inches yesterday, so another day of snow, another snow day for me. So thought about coming on Hashtag. So when you asked me, I said no problem.
Almost makes you want to go to New Orleans, doesn't it?
It does.
So anyway, guys, before we get started, if you want to send in a question, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. You can tweet me, leave a post on the comment, or leave a comment on the post. I'm all over the place here today. Snow day is getting to me. The comment on the post on Tuesday nights, or you can leave a comment on this very video. I'll include it in next week's edition. So, first question here today comes from Captain Sunshine from YouTube. What did you make of the Revival and TM61 losing their matches cleanly and pretty convincingly to the Bar and AOP, respectively, last week? Personally, I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, sure, they were both made out to look somewhat credible in defeat, but I think TM61 could show that they are the best tag team in NXT if given a chance. But after last week, fans have little reason to believe that they're anything more than enhancement talent. The Revival, on the other hand, at their best, are arguably one of the best tag teams in the world, so them losing to the Bar like that makes no sense, in my opinion. Well, for me, I agree for the Revival losing. It was a good match. I was hardly surprised. I highly doubted they would do the Revival in the Bar at WrestleMania, despite how good of a match that would be. Braun's getting that spot instead. We'll talk about that a little later on. But the Revival losing was not that big of a deal. I thought they looked good in defeat. But yeah, they could be doing a lot more with the Revival right now. It looks like they won't be a part of WrestleMania. At least the Raw Tag Team title match, I could see them being in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which is yet to be announced, but we'll see. For TM61, that one shocked me more. I had them going all the way, let alone losing in the first round. I was very surprised about that. So, I mean, NXT usually does stuff right, so I'm hoping there's a longer, bigger plan in place here in the long term for these guys. But yeah, them losing cleanly to Authors of Pain was a bit surprising. I would put them in the tag team title match or the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, whatever, at TakeOver, but that's just me. So what are your thoughts, RJ, on the respective losses last week from the Revival and TM61?
Yeah, I was definitely more surprised the TM61 loss. I think we talked about it. I figured they'd make it pretty far. I thought them and the Street Profits would probably meet up. I think that was in the semifinals on their side of the bracket. So I was shocked AOP beat them, especially since we've been talking for a while. They've been ready to come up for a while now, so I'm shocked that they didn't just put over TM61 before they come to the main roster. But Revival, I wasn't really shocked at all. They haven't really been treated the way they should be on the main roster. NXT, they were amazing, and main roster, I don't know if it's just Vince doesn't like their style or just doesn't find it compelling, but they really haven't done anything noteworthy really on the main roster. So once the Bar beat them, I honestly wasn't shocked at all. They obviously, I think it was Dash was hurt, and the other one didn't really do much, and they came back, and they still haven't really done much since then. They lost freaking the Good Brothers a few times, and they've 50-50 them a few times, but I don't know, they just haven't been special on Raw, so I wasn't really shocked that they lost the Bar.
Yeah, no, like you said, I mean, one of them got hurt, then they came back, and the other one got hurt, so that really killed their momentum. And then they came back, and they've been good to go for months now, but they haven't done anything in a while. Like you said, trading 50-50 booking with the Balor Club there for a while, not really doing anything at this point. Honestly, putting them in the tag team title match at WrestleMania would make very little sense, if only because they've done nothing for months. At least Braun is a much bigger star who should be in a bigger match, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, I agree that I was hardly surprised by that. What's next for Buddy Murphy after his loss last week? What do you see being next for Buddy Murphy, RJ?
I think he'll just stick on NXT. I mean, not NXT, 205 Live. I think he looked good in those 2 matches that he had. But I don't know. I just don't see a bright future for him. He's kind of bland. He was like that in NXT as well. He just doesn't really have a character and just like doesn't stick out from anyone else. I think just other 205 guys stick out more than him, have more charisma, better wrestling. So we'll see what happens. I like that they gave him a shot, but I don't see any championships on his horizon anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so either. I mean, the guy's really, really good. He just doesn't really have much of a character. And putting him in there with the good matches in the tournament made sense. Because like with the Cruiserweight Classic, there were people that were great wrestlers, but you knew nothing about them at all. And I feel like Buddy Murphy is one of those people. So I guess we'll see. But I feel like keeping him on 205 Live, like you said, is a much better bet than putting him back in NXT where he wasn't even on TV. It's not even like he was a jobber there. The guy was never on TV. So you might as well just put him on a show where he can at least somewhat shine. Bonus question for you, RJ. Does Buddy Murphy get jealous when Alexa Bliss teams up with Braun Strowman? Team Little Big.
Easily. How could he be jealous? It's a great team.
Could we see an option? I know Buddy Murphy's on 205 Live now, but could those plans from Total Divas be realized where Buddy Murphy gets cut from the company, has to be deported, and then Alexa Bliss marries Braun Strowman?
I'm down.
How amazing would Braun and Alexa be on Total Divas?
Amazing. Team Little Big in person? Wow.
That'd be unbelievable. Next question from Captain Sunshine. I know the match is already considered a joke by most, and this would probably only make matters worse in that regard, but how would you feel about Kurt Hawkins snapping his losing streak by winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year? You know what? Honestly, why not? Like, I would give it to Rusev just because I don't think Rusev is doing anything else on the show. But why the hell not? I mean, the Battle Royal means nothing anyway. You had fucking Mojo Rawley win it last year, go on to do absolutely nothing. So why not? Just give it to Kurt Hawkins. You know what? I say hashtag book it.
I would never give it to Kurt Hawkins. Guy's a fucking joke. The thing is, with Mojo, the only reason they really put it on him was to get their mainstream attention with Gronk on it. It wasn't like they really had anything. It was more to get mainstream attention than him winning it. Like, I don't know. I feel like the tournament's a joke. They had a good start and then just kind of floundered. Like, the people have won, they had chances and they just gave up on it. Like, they put the trophy out there for a month and they make it seem like the person winning it's a big deal, and then they were just a loser for the rest of the year, so no one cares about them. I would also give it to Rusev, though. I think it would be something big. If they should make it like you win, like you get like a title shot, like even a mid-card title shot, whatever. It should mean something, not just like you win a dumb trophy and then it's at a ringside for a month and then they take it away and then you're just a loser for the rest of the year. It's just, I would give it to Rusev, but please no to Kurt Hawkins.
It's essentially the equivalent of the kickoff show, not the kickoff show, but they would have like battle royals before WrestleMania a few years ago that would never make the show. They would be like dark matches. It's the same thing. It's just televised now. That's all this really is. It's been on the kickoff show, I think twice of the 4 times we've had it so far. This year, if they have it, with the stack card that we have, I would be shocked if it made the main card. So I would hope not anyway. It's a waste of a match. But yeah, I would give it to Rusev though too. Next question from, let's see, Captain Sunshine. I've got Captain Sunshine down here twice. I think Elena the Y. This was from, let's see. The other questions, oh no, I'm sorry. The other questions were from Joe M. I apologize. I'm all over the place here today on the show. Those were from Joe M. His 4th question was, will Ty Dillinger and Breezango be able to build any momentum after their win at Fastlane? And do you think Mojo Rawley's response to the "you can't wrestle" chant saying, "you think I care about being a wrestler," may have just been the dumbest thing said by a wrestler all year, RJ?
Honestly, I didn't even see the match for Fastlane. The match is a bunch of losers. I really could care less. I don't know. Mojo saying that, it is stupid, but like, he has no future. Like, he's not good. He sucks as a face. He sucks as a heel. He's one of those guys that probably should have never even got out of NXT. I'm shocked that he got pushed. If it wasn't for Ryder, he would never got out of NXT. So I'm surprised they're even trying to push him as a singles guy. But Dillinger and Breezango are just 3 losers, and in a loser match, then even on SmackDown, they're not going to put him in any big feud. Dillinger failed as a mid-carder, and Breezango I don't see them competing for the tag titles anytime soon, so I'd say 0 shot for any of the guys. Yeah,
I highly doubt this is going anywhere and building momentum for Dillinger and Breezango. It's like they just put 6 jobbers in one match and they flipped a coin to see who would go over, and the baby faces won, so that's why they put them over the heels. I doubt it leads anywhere. They weren't even on the show on Tuesday. They weren't even on SmackDown on Tuesday. Why would you think this is going anywhere with these guys? These questions are from Captain Sunshine. Their first question was, I feel conflicted by Fastlane like Elimination Chamber. It had obvious and predictable results that were necessary to build a bigger show, to build a scheduled bigger show, WrestleMania, which is fine. It had a messy Charlotte Ruby match and Randy Orton wrestling for 20 minutes, but nothing was actually bad. I was bored watching most of the show, but at least it was boring wrestling with a point. So does that make this the best Fastlane to date? I like the show. It was probably the best Fastlane pay-per-view we've ever had, which is not saying much, because last year's show was absolutely terrible. It was so bad that RJ had to leave halfway through watching the show when he was with me. That's how bad the show was. He was leaving anyway, but still, it makes a point when we say how bad it was when you put it like that. But the show was atrocious. This show is a lot better. I thought Charlotte and Ruby was good. I don't know what you're saying. It was messy. I mean, it had a few awkward spots, but I thought that was one of the better SmackDown Women's title matches I've seen in at least 4 or 5 months. And the Orton match wasn't bad either. I thought that was good, despite the fact that Orton won, but whatever. So yeah, I thought it was a great, the best Fastlane to date. I thought it was a pretty good show, and considering my expectations were at an all-time low, it exceeded them, which is not saying much, but it is what it is. So RJ, your thoughts on Fastlane?
As you, I very low expectations. I haven't even really watched SmackDown in a while. I was like, I'll just watch the show. It shouldn't be too bad, but whatever. I'll give it a positive. Like, I'll be okay going into it. I actually didn't mind it. The only match I just like, I'm like, this Becky Lynch, Naomi, Carmella, and Natalia match was terrible. They were like calling different moves in the ring, and they just like bump. They were just all over the place. They had no idea what they were doing, and the match was sloppy as hell, and it had no implications. It was just a random tag match. It should have been on SmackDown. There was another 50-50 match. Like, they've traded wins a million times. No one gave a 2 shits about the match. And Carmella and Natalia winning does nothing for Becky and Naomi. They're like, okay, you're losers. I like the tag match. A lot of people were pissed about the non-finish. I thought it was great. I thought the beatdown was good. The match was good before the beatdown anyways, and makes sense for the Blunder Brothers to insert themselves in this match. I thought it was great. I liked that as well. Ruby and Charlotte, I thought it was good. I didn't hate it. I think it sucks for Ruby, and I think Ruby's the only one really out of that group that really has a future. But it sucks for her because she's, I don't know, just like Charlotte going over her. It's obvious it's gonna happen, but it just sucks for them because I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon. Just because the rest of the division's pretty much a bunch of losers, anyways. Orton and Rude, I thought it was a pretty good match. A little long for my taste. At the end, it was kind of dragging for me. Orton obviously winning. I didn't hate it, but it kind of, come on, like Randy Orton, please. And then the main event, I thought was really good. Shane interfering pissed me off in the win. I hate interference and like pulling people out of the ring not to win. Like, come on, it's just so stupid. But I thought the show was good. Besides the tag match, everything else was good. I did just want to rant about how bad the show was, but I honestly did not think it was it was way better than last year's show. I try to think what happened to the last Fastlane when I was at your place. I don't know. Strowman fought someone and lost, I'm pretty sure. Roman Reigns?
He lost to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, lost to Roman Reigns.
Owens got squashed in 30 seconds to lose the title to Goldberg. Bayley and Charlotte had that terrible match where Bayley won and snapped the Charlotte undefeated streak. Nia and Sasha Banks had a match. That show was bad. We had Cesaro versus Jinder Mahal and Rusev getting buried by Big Show.
Yeah, so that show sucked. Like I said, I might sound very negative in my critique, but I don't know. I thought the show was pretty good. I just hate the fucking interference, you know that. But I thought Charlotte and Ruby was good. The main event was good besides Shane being Shane. And then that tag match sucked. But everything else was good.
I agree. This isn't part of the question, but on SmackDown last night when Shane said that he was indefinitely leaving as the SmackDown commissioner and then the crowd cheered, that says it all. That says it all right there. I mean, the guy was so over when he came back, and he's still popular, but it's like he's so overexposed, and he's preventing them from winning the championship for what? I mean, the guy, they didn't do anything. He looks like the heel in all of this. It's so stupid, but I don't know. Yeah, I completely agree. It was like a roll your eyes moment. It's like, really? Come on, that was dumb. But I thought it was a great match overall, though, the main event.
Yeah, I like the main event, but like you said, Shane was so over when he came back, and everyone's like, just get off the TV, please. He's like Triple H and Stephanie now, that's why.
He is.
He's always involved, and it's like, dude, stop. Like,
how bad is it? All the marks getting their hopes up for Daniel Bryan and Shane teaming up at WrestleMania, and that's not happening. People need to get over it. All the marks thinking that Daniel Bryan's coming back, and it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just need Shane off my TV. He's just too much now.
Yeah, they got to take him off TV for at least a substantial period of time because at this point it's overkill to say the least. Let's see. Elena the Y, isn't Ronda Rousey supposed to be a regular on Raw who actually appears on TV every week? Where's Roman Reigns when you need him? So, yeah, this was funny. So they advertised Ronda Rousey for every Raw leading up to WrestleMania. Then she no-shows Raw on Monday, and then that's it. I mean, I guess she won't be on the show next week, from what I understand. I think they are advertising her. Maybe they're not. But from what I read, she won't be on this week, or this past week, whatever. She won't be on next week, or the week after that. She's only being advertised for the Raw before WrestleMania. So how the hell are they going to build a match with 1/4, their biggest star in the entire match, not even there for 3 weeks? And maybe she shows up next week, but that's just what I heard. So yeah, that was really dumb. They had to go back and delete the article from .com saying that she'd be on every Raw before Mania because it obviously it just wasn't true. And it's hilarious when they're telling the same story with Roman Reigns saying, oh, Brock Lesnar's a lazy part-timer, and they're scheduling him to not be a part of the show. Whereas Ronda Rousey, she had like a legit reason to not be there, but she still no-showed Raw. Doesn't matter what the reason was. She wasn't on the show as advertised, so that's pretty shitty. But yeah, your thoughts on the Ronda Rousey-Roman Reigns thing?
Wait, Ronda wasn't on the show? They showed I saw it in the same promo 4 times.
Yeah, they showed the recap a million times.
The recap 5 times in a row, you missed it? And they showed it on Fastlane and SmackDown like 10 times? You didn't see it? When she pushed her over to a table and beat up Stephanie? Come on. Honestly, the fucking Ronda Rousey shit's starting to really piss me off. I understand. I know I did see that article that she's on every Raw, and then obviously she's not. But, like, give it a fucking break. Like, I only see the same promo 4 times in a row. It's fucking overkill at that point. We get it. It's Ronda Rousey. Like, oh my fucking god, it's so annoying. And like you said, the whole Roman Reigns thing, like, oh, Brock Lesnar's a lazy part-timer, he won't show up at Raw. But they're purposely scheduling him not to go on Raw to get Roman cheered, but Ronda Rousey's not showing up. So why isn't he bitching about her? She has the same thing as Lesnar, like, oh my god, it's just stupid booking. It's WWE 101, like, if it doesn't make sense, we'll do it, and they just keep doing it. Like, no one cares, like, I'm not gonna boo Brock Lesnar just because he's not there. Like, they're purposely doing it. Like, the dumb marks, like, oh, he's not showing up, like, cheer Roman. Like, no. They're purposely doing it to make you cheer for Roman, you dumbass.
They're falling for it. They're falling for the trap that WWE set for them.
Hook, line, and sinker. Vince got them by the fucking vice grip on their balls, for Christ's sakes. But, yeah, I don't care. Honestly, Ronda Rousey, she's not a real, like, we get it. Like, she's not done the mic. Her segments have been unbearable. Like, all 4 of them just, like, they just, ugh. Just get the match over with, please.
Yeah, just get WrestleMania over with so we can move on.
Just put on SportsCenter so you can get your fucking subscribers up for a day. Holy shit.
Exactly. Elena's second question, how funny is it that the story behind John Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania is that Undertaker is coming back from retirement just so that big match John can stop being sad about not having a road to WrestleMania for 1 year? See, I don't understand this either. The whole thing with this feud, like, it's a dream match, but John Cena never really said why he wants to face The Undertaker. He has no road to WrestleMania, so he's going to call out the one guy that's been fucking retired for a year now. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, despite the fact I don't want to see the match, because it's probably going to be shit. Other than that, the build, it's like, it's so stupid, because the guy apparently retired, yet John Cena is supposed to be the one. He's calling him, like, you have an ego and all this other stuff. It's like, dude, just let him retire and be in peace. Like, why would you bring him back? It makes no sense to me. So I thought the whole bill, I mean, maybe it'll get better in the weeks ahead, but John Cena calling out Undertaker just for the sake of calling him out without an actual reason. Like, it would be one thing if he said, oh, we've been in the same company now for 15 years and we've never crossed paths, whatever. But he didn't even say that. He just said he wanted the match with Undertaker, and the dumb marks ate it up and they went nuts. That was it. That was the only thing that happened on Raw this week that I thought was my biggest takeaway from that segment. So, your thoughts, RJ?
Yeah, John Cena looks like a big baby right now. Like, I don't got plans for WrestleMania, so I want to fight Undertaker. Like, dude, the match is gonna suck. Undertaker's last, like, 3 matches of WrestleMania have been terrible. Like, why do you want to have another one? Like, God forbid. The guy's like fucking 50-something. Like, God almighty. Like, I get it, Cena. You're a loser. But I don't know. Like, the whole build's been so dumb. Like, I don't have our dance partner, so I want to fight the Undertaker. Like, no, please. Like, give me something reason to care. And I don't care about the Undertaker really anymore because, like you said, his last, you could even go back to WrestleMania 30. The match sucked. 30, 31 was like 31 was like passable. I'll say passable. 32 was terrible. 33 sucked, and this year probably won't be any different. But like, You can't find anything better than John Cena do than fight The Undertaker. Like, that should have been done 5 years ago. Like, no one cares. The dumb marks love it, but, like, The Undertaker was in terrible shape. He's in terrible shape.
Awful
like,
shape.
Why does anyone want to see it? It's terrible. Give him Samoa Joe or someone else. Like, they should have him, honestly, even though it doesn't really make sense, him and Strowman or something. Like, well, Strowman probably would have lost, though, so never mind. Someone, I don't know, but not The Undertaker. Like, it's going to be a bad match.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
It's going to be a bad match. I mean, it also was comical, too, when John Cena was like, oh, I'm going to sit at WrestleMania this year just by sitting in the credits. Like, give me a fucking break. Even, like, a 10-year-old is not that stupid to think that he's not going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. He's like, oh, I'll be there. I'll just be backstage and catering. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, don't insult our intelligence with this dumb nonsense. It's so stupid. And then he calls out The Undertaker, like, we're all shocked. It's like, dude, it was rumored, like, a year ago, as soon as The Undertaker retired. Like, we're not all stupid here. I can't wait for the people who are so excited for this match to be why was it so bad? I was expecting an instant classic. It's like, dude, the guy's 70 years old. Of course the match is going to be shit. They should have done it 5 years ago. So why are people so surprised that the match is going to be bad at WrestleMania? I cannot wait for the response from all the marks talking about how bad the match is when they were the ones who wanted to see it in the first place. Like, give me a break. Next question from Deshaun K from Facebook. What are your thoughts on WWE possibly introducing the Cruiserweight Tag Team titles, RJ?
I think it's a decent idea. I think on paper it sounds good. I don't think they really have a lot of tag teams, but I guess it's something for other guys to do than just like meaningless, pointless feuds. It's like something that we've been always talking about for the women, like maybe a women's tag division, because it gives them something to do instead of freaking Becky Lynch and Naomi facing Natalya and Carmella for shits and giggles.
They're fighting for pride, RJ. They're fighting for pride.
Oh my god, get the hell out of it with the pride shit. It's just like they have like the 6-man tag match. Like, please give me a reason to care. I know you're always with the saying less titles is better, but like, give me a reason to care about these women, or give me the reason to care about these cruiserweights. Like, why should I care about Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, freaking Gulak, and like Mustafa Ali, and like they're just random guys that have nothing to, like, they haven't won anything, so why should I care? Like, they have the only cruiserweight that has any credibility is Cedric Alexander. Everyone else is just a bunch of random guys that can do flippity-doo-dahs.
Yeah.
Like, at least throw a title on them and give me some reason to care. But I think it's a decent idea on paper, to see how they execute it.
No, I agree. Like you said, I think less is more, but if they add some more people to the roster, I think it can work. I think the always thing I had with the women was that the roster wasn't big enough to justify doing women's tag titles, but I mean, now that it is, they're on two separate brands. With the cruiserweights, they're all in one brand, so you could feasibly do it. They have like 10 people on the show currently. If they call up officially Roderick Strong, Buddy Murphy, Mark Andrews, Tyler Bate, and a few others, like Leo Rush or something, I think it could work. I think they could feasibly make it work and make people care about this division more than, just the people in the title picture. And fighting for, like you said, pride and shits and giggles and stuff. No one cares. No one's going to give a shit. So they really need more than just the main championship to make this division work moving forward. Let's see. Speaking of titles, also from Deshaun, should the UK Championship be defunct now that the North American title will be debuting at TakeOver New Orleans? How can WWE work this out by having two supposedly mid-card titles in NXT? The UK title, it kind of, but sort of isn't really the mid-card belt for NXT. I know people look at it that way. I looked at it that way before recently. But it's so inconsistently defended on the show. Like, Dunn will show up, like, in December, and then we won't see him until, like, February. Like, they need more of him on NXT, which I think he will be moving forward, which is good. But if they're not going to make it the mid-card belt of the show, then I like the idea of the North American Championship. I mean, this roster is so stacked right now. Their whole roster in NXT is so big, and they have so much star power, that every person competing for that championship at TakeOver New Orleans, I wish they could all win it. I want them all to win the championship because they could all use a belt right now. And like RJ said, and like I just said, I think less is more, but for NXT, they've always needed a mid-card belt, at least for the last 3 years. So I like the idea a lot. I'm sure Tyler Breeze is crying right now that he wasn't around, that he's not around in NXT in 2018 because he could have been a shoo-in for that championship 3 years ago. But anyway, no, I like the idea a lot, and I think with the UK belt, I don't think they have to have it go defunct, but they just don't have to have it on the show as regularly because, I don't know. I think they were supposed to have the UK show, and that went nowhere, and there's no plans for it. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but I love the idea of the North American Championship. They can keep the UK belt if they want, but they don't have to have it on the show as, as consistently as they have been, which isn't really all that consistently at all. They can just bring it in, on occasion, like a European Championship from like '02. So, RJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like I said, like you just said, I thought it was pretty much the mid-card belt, but done wasn't really on TV, like you said, sporadically on TV once every couple of months. If anything, after the WrestleMania, maybe they do like Gunn versus whoever wins the North American belt, like Chicago. I think that's what the takeover after New Orleans would be. Maybe do like a unification and then just not defunct. Well, yeah, basically defunct the belt. Because what's the point of, unless they have plans for the UK show? I haven't really heard anything about that. But maybe just merging them and making it just one belt. I think Dunn would be great if he was on NXT more. I think he should be on NXT more. He's one of the better wrestlers they have. He's super over, and they could use him more in NXT. But yeah, I think the North American belt. I don't think it's the greatest name, but they definitely need a mid card belt with all the talent they have now. There's so many stars right now. At least give it's great. Like you said, it's always great for pride and stuff, especially in NXT because they can pull off a good match without having a title on the line. But just adding a title will make it even better. So. And give those other guys something to fight for, especially if you're not going to make it above a certain level in NXT. But I think the match on NXT or New Orleans is going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see who wins the belt.
That match is going to be unreal. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Speaking of multi-man matches, that's what our next question is about. So with so much of these multi-man matches happening at WrestleMania, would it be wise to bring back Money in the Bank for future WrestleManias? And would 8 participants be overkill? So I think I said this a few weeks ago. I think I might have been talking about it to Randy, but with the Money in the Bank being back at WrestleMania, I would have agreed with that even like a year ago, before we had like the women's Money in the Bank. But I think what they're doing now at the pay-per-view, I believe, coming up in a few months, I think if it's still around, if they didn't scrap it anyway, I think if they're doing the pay-per-view, then I think they're having one for the men's and then one for the women's, because all the pay-per-views now are co-branded. So they're not going to do one for Raw, one for SmackDown for the men and the women. That would be overkill if they had 4 ladder matches in one show. Thankfully, that won't be the case. It looks like they're having one for the men, one for the women between the two brands, which is good. So I don't want to see like a women's ladder match and a men's ladder match at WrestleMania. Having them on the same B show at Money in the Bank is fine. Doing it at WrestleMania, I would bring back the men's Money in the Bank, but you can't bring back the men's without doing the women's on the same show. So I don't think that idea works. But 8 participants, I think, is good. I think 6 is great too, but 8 I think is a happy medium. 10 is overkill. They had one at WrestleMania 26 where they had like fucking 10 people in it, where Jack Swagger won. That was a mess of a match because there were just too many people involved. But I would keep it right where it is right now. RJ, would you keep it at the pay-per-view or bring it back to WrestleMania?
Honestly, I would just keep it at the pay-per-view. Money in the Bank became one of the bigger B shows, pretty much an A show at this point. Everyone looks forward to Money in the Bank. It's always usually a good show. And just like now that you don't need a WrestleMania, like they have the Andre the Giant Memorial now, the Women's Battle Royal, so it kind of gets everyone on the card at that aspect. And you don't need another ladder match. It just the last couple of years they've had like an 8-man ladder match, and then they have Money in the Bank like 3 months later. It's kind of pointless. But I'd rather just do the Money in the Bank, its own separate entity, and it makes it that random June or May or whenever the hell they have the pay-per-view. It just makes it even better. It's like kind of like the road stop between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. It's perfect where it is, so just don't change it. So imagine they got rid of Money in the Bank and put like some other pay-per-view that didn't have that concept. People wouldn't care as much, and it doesn't have that much on the line. With 2 people winning a briefcase, gives the people more to wonder about and gives it more of a bigger time pay-per-view than just a regular show that has nothing really, any big implications on the line.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I think we should do away with the theme pay-per-views altogether, but I think if Money in the Bank is coming back, which I'm pretty sure it is, because I forgot what the pay-per-view schedule looks like for the coming months, but I think if it's sticking around, then I think it's one of the, definitely they should keep it just because, it's one, like you said, one of the bigger, better shows of the year, it seems like, in recent, based off what we've seen in recent years. And like Hell in a Cell, TLC, give me a break. That shit should be done away with years ago. Money in the Bank, those consistently good show, I would keep it right where it's at. You would like this question, RJ, also from Ross from Facebook. Should WWE bring back a Cyber Sunday / Taboo Tuesday type of pay-per-view again? What are your thoughts on that?
No. And the show was rigged anyways. It wasn't really vote. Like, No, the shows are never that good. I would not bring it back. I think the idea is cool. They actually,
Well, the thing
it's
is,
cool if they let it really be voted
yeah.
on. It really wasn't. It was like a rigged voting.
It was, but I feel like with these pay-per-views is that we see the shit every week anyway. Like, the reason it was cool back in, like, 05, 06 was because, it was, like, online voting. They didn't do that all too often. We see fucking, like, app votes all the time. They just asked me last night, who do you want to see be brought back in the Mixed Match Challenge? Vote now on Facebook. Like, we vote on all this shit, like, every single week. So, like, a pay-per-view to me would be, like, bringing that back is... people have been saying this for years. Bring back Cyber Sunday, bring back Taboo Tuesday. It's like, why? Why? I mean, there's no reason for it. I understand maybe
every Tuesday, every SmackDown, when they ask you what do you want, voting on this, shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. We see it every Raw, we see it on every SmackDown with Twitter and Facebook and all this other shit. It makes no sense. It's completely useless. I mean, the shows weren't terrible, but they weren't great enough to the point where they should be brought back like King of the Ring or something. I'd rather see that brought back before a Cyber Sunday / Taboo Tuesday. Ross's third question here. What are your thoughts around the controversy surrounding the fabulous Moolah? I personally feel China deserves more gratitude after all, for this. So,
do you want me to dive in first, GSM, or do you want to
go? You know what? You could dive in first with this, RJ.
You're more meat on the bone than I got. I honestly wasn't really too knowledgeable about Moolah's past. Me and you discussed this other night. Honestly, if it was up to me, I would just do like the Trish Stratus Battle Royal. Honestly, I don't really have like the outs of Fabulous Moolah, but like, dude, she wrestled like fucking 50 years ago. No one gives a rat's ass about Moolah. Like, she had like a 7-year title reign. No one gave a shit. No one gives a shit now. Trish Stratus, it should have been more. It should be Trish Stratus. We had on her Giant Memorial. Okay, that honor someone from the past. Give it to like Trish Stratus or Lita or one of them. Like, I don't know. Trish Stratus, like, to me, is like the perfect WWE diva. Like, she was hot. She could wrestle. She was big for the company. She's still with the company now, like, doing good things. She's Hall of Famer. She had no, like, really big issues that ever came out about her. Like, China, like, the whole porn thing. So they're not going to do China. Spoon to get over the China train. But if I was them, I would have done Trish Stratus. Because there would have been no backlash. Like, maybe because the stupid China marks might have bitched. But besides that, I would go with China. I would have gone with Trish Stratus. Perfect. And then she could be there. She could be there, present the trophy to Becky Lynch or Ruby Riott or Sasha Banks or whoever the fuck ever won the match. And I think people wouldn't have a big deal about it. But the whole Fabulous Moolah thing is just a huge outrage.
Woof. I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, I already discussed this. I recorded Wrestle Rant Radio early today, so that'll be up later, and I feel like I did all my ranting there. Yeah, I'm completely against this. One of the biggest piece of shits in the wrestling business. Absolutely, just a total disgrace. One of the biggest CUNTs I've ever seen in my entire life. Based off what I have read about this woman. She is... I hope she's rotten in hell right now. She is an absolutely deplorable human being. Just a vile human. Just absolutely terrible. So I'm glad that she's, first of all, dead. Second of all, and I... that's taking a little too far, but I completely stand by that. Second of all, WWE is so stupid, regardless of what you think of Fabulous Moolah, whether you know about her past or not, like RJ said. Why would you want to bring this backlash to your company? Every single time they brought up this fucking Battle Royal in the last 48 hours, whether it's the company talking about it on Twitter, or if it's like Natalya saying, "Oh my God, what a pioneer for women's wrestling Fabulous Moolah was." It's like, no, she fucking wasn't. She was the exact opposite. She set women's wrestling back at least 10 years, if not longer than that. That's how bad she was for the business. But the way they're playing this up, and I can guarantee you that piece of shit, what's his name from Total Divas, Mark's not Canyon Seaman, the other clown bag.
Mark Carrano.
Is it Mark Carrano? No. Is it Mark Carrano?
He's the talent guy, yeah.
It is Mark Carrano. Yeah, Mark Carrano. I guarantee you, he was the guy that's texting all these women, texting Peyton Royce, texting Ember Moon, texting Natalya and Carmella and all the other women. Please say something nice about Fabulous Moolah. We need to get over the importance in this Battle Royal. That's the only reason why these women are like, oh my God, this is so great. She was so amazing for our business. Having the Battle Royal is one thing. Having these people go out of their way to praise her like the second coming of Jesus, to me, is like terrible. It brings more attention to one of the worst people this business has ever hosted. It's awful. I'm going to say China just because, if you want to have the Trish Stratus Battle Royal, that's great. I'm all for that. You obviously can't call it the Trish Stratus Memorial Battle Royal because she's not dead, but you can call it the Trish Stratus Invitational or something along those lines. I feel like the China thing works, if only because First of all, they're going to put her in the Hall of Fame anyway. I know they said, oh, her porn career is going to prevent her from going in. Fuck that. They're going to put her in anyway in the next couple of years. I guarantee you. Same thing with Macho Man. Oh, we're not going to put him in, but they're going to put him in 3 years after he's dead. They're going to do the same thing with him, or they're going to do the same thing with her at some point in the next few years. But I feel like she's a great counterpart to Andre the Giant. So you have Andre for one battle royal, and then you have Chyna for the other one. But again, I feel like, as you had said, it kind of goes back to what they were talking about a few years ago. It's very hypocritical. Maybe it's a little too soon to be doing that, but it's also, to me, it's just hilarious that they would give the excuse with Chyna that, oh, we're not going to put her in the Hall of Fame because what if a kid goes online and searches up her name and finds her porn videos? Whereas if you look up Fabulous Moolah and you find out all these horrible, horrible, horrible things this woman has done that are 10 times worse than anything Chyna ever did, then it's okay. It's okay if you look up Fabulous Moolah, but it's not okay if you look up Chyna. Like, that's so stupid, but anyway, that's my abbreviated thoughts in the Battle Royal thing.
Wasn't the whole point of doing the Mae Young Classic to not put Fabulous Moolah's name? Like, wasn't it?
That's exactly. That's what I don't understand.
Rumored to be the Fabulous Moolah tournament, and they're like, oh, we can't name her, like, she has such a shitty background. Then they're gonna do this, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, what I don't get is the company that's supposed to be so PC and like so like PR friendly and make sure they do the right things, suspend people for like the dumbest shit and like overanalyze everything. They're gonna name a battle royal after this person. It's the biggest scum on the earth. Like, you would think they would reconsider that, but I don't think they're going back. Like I said, everyone like, she's a trailblazer. Like, she did nothing. She fucking buried women for fucking 20 years. Get over yourself, fucking Natalia.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Champion for 30 years, buried the entire women's roster from fucking 1948 to 76 or whatever the hell it was. Who cares? Go back to your dinosaur age, woman. Yeah, Trish Stratus or Chyna. Trish Stratus or Chyna would be much better options. They're not doing that. But yeah, that never made any sense to me either. I was thinking about that last night. It's like, wasn't the whole point of the Mae Young Classic to call it, to name it after someone who had some credibility in the business and was actually beloved by the fans and, talent and stuff, and not fucking had this rap sheet of all the crimes that she's committed? It doesn't make any sense to me. But bottom line, I do like the idea of the Battle Royal. I know they had one like 9 years ago, which I think at the time was the plan to make it an annual thing, the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. But because that first one was so bad, and they had it won by Santina Marella, and it had it was like a skid mark on that show. They could not bring it back. Like, oh, the inaugural winner was Santina Marella. They were not going to bring that shit back. That's a fucking joke. So I would hope they're going to take this one more seriously, and maybe have it be won by like a Kairi Sane or a Ruby Riott or a Becky Lynch, who, God forbid, could use it. But after being buried by Carmella on the pay-per-view last Sunday. But that's neither here nor there. I like the idea of it, just the name is a little off, to say the least. Let's see. At Jeremy8911 from Twitter, if Braun is forced to have a partner to face the Bar at WrestleMania, who do you think his partner should be? I think it was Jeremy who I saw tweet out a couple of different options, and I liked them all. I mean, Elias is the obvious one, given their recent history. I think Elias could just perform, do a little, like, single at WrestleMania, and that's fine. The guy doesn't need to wrestle. But Elias would work. I've seen Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe would be my pick if the guy's good to go. I think it would suck if he had to miss WrestleMania again. And a tag team match works, too, because if he can't work a full-on match, at least a tag team match could be pretty sweet. But having them, like, dominate everyone in the bar would be pretty awesome. So Samoa Joe, Elias, I've seen, like, a dark horse could be like a Lars Sullivan. That'd be actually pretty awesome, but I think it might be way too early to be calling him up. But I would go with Samoa Joe. So, RJ, who would you like to see face, or rather team with Braun if he had to have a partner at WrestleMania?
I think the only one that really makes sense would be Elias. Obviously, like you said, it'd be cool with Samoa Joe. I've always seen people say Big Show. Like, please, no.
Absolutely not.
Or Kane. Oh my God.
Could you imagine? Jesus Christ.
But I think if it had to be anyone, it'd be Elias. It makes the most sense. But I wouldn't care if it was Joe. But please, no to Big Show, and please, no to Kane.
Yeah, I just am not a fan of that at all. I would not want to see Big Show back in a regular role in a tag team with fucking Braun Strowman, who's one of the most over guys they have. Putting him in a tag team with Big Show screams 2006 WWE when they were champions for like 6 months in the company when they won the World Tag Team titles. Let's see. Anyway, next question, I think also from Jeremy. Thoughts on the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania? We already talked about that. At the Average Grunt from Twitter. Should Ciampa versus Gargano be the main event of NXT TakeOver New Orleans? That's a great question, RJ. I'll let you take it away first.
I would say it could be, but I don't think it will be. I think, if anything, that should be like the kickoff. It should be the first match of the night. Like, imagine that starting off the show. It'd be a great match.
Wow.
Get the crowd fired up. I would have the first match. For anything, it's either should be first or last. Anywhere in between when I feel like when fit right. If anything, they'll do the ladder match last, make it a bigger deal. But I think it should be the first match for anything.
Yeah, and I think they're either going to have either the ladder match main event, but it's got to be, in my opinion, it's got to be Andrade Almas and Aleister Black, given the year that Almas has had. And Black is probably winning. I'd be shocked if he didn't. And with the coronation of a new champion, it's going to be great, and people are going to go nuts, and the match should be awesome too. So that should be the match that goes on last, in my opinion. But if they had the main event, I wouldn't complain, but I do agree that if they're not going to have it last, I think it should go on first, and it would set the tone for the rest of the show. His second question, what do you think about the idea of Bray Wyatt being Braun Strowman's partner at WrestleMania 34? I know not a lot of people take him seriously anymore. That's a fucking understatement. But I would love for him to get his WrestleMania moment. WrestleMania moment. Is this not the same guy who's been buried like 4 WrestleManias in a row and called the Eater of Hot Pockets by The Rock? I thought that was his WrestleMania moment. Wasn't it not, RJ? Was that not his WrestleMania moment?
I thought it was. Then he'd be outgrown in 2 seconds.
I mean, I could see what you mean here, Average Grunt, with the history that they have. Bray Wyatt, anything this guy touches turns to death. Because this guy is fucking damaged goods by this point. Having him team with Braun, I feel like, is a massive, massive step backward for Braun Strowman. I'm all for like a Bray Wyatt, Woken, Matt Hardy tag team. I feel like those two could use each other, especially now that Jeff is apparently in the can again, the fucking in the shithole and in jail after having a DUI arrest. What an idiot. So putting those two together would work. But Bray Wyatt and Braun, I don't know about that. I feel like, first of all, Bray Wyatt's probably losing, I can imagine, the Ultimate Deletion stuff that we're getting next week. Why the fuck would you have him lose that, and then put him in a tag team title match at WrestleMania, and then Matt Hardy's not even on the card? That would be so stupid that I could see it happening, because this is WWE after all. But it's not the worst idea given their history, but I really, really want Braun as far away from Bray Wyatt as possible.
Please, for the love of God, don't give him Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is like the R-Truth right now. He's like Santino Marella character right now. If you're with him, you're a loser. I'd way rather have Elias. I think I'd rather have Big Show. No joke. I think I'd rather have Big Show than Bray
Honestly,
Wyatt.
I agree.
I've tried my hardest to like Bray Wyatt. I like Bray Wyatt. They just don't do the guy justice. He loses every year. He hasn't won a WrestleMania once. Gets buried by every time he's at WrestleMania, gets buried. And if you're with, no. Give me Elias. Give me Elias or Strowman by himself. Please, God, no to fucking Bray Wyatt.
But Arju, what's next for the Wyatt family?
Oh my God.
Remember that was being asked every single week for like a 3-month stretch?
Hey, the worst part is that's because people actually gave a shit about them. They were losers and people still cared. And then WWE just went to a point that people just couldn't care about them. Like, that shows how bad WWE booked them. People would ask every week what's next for the Wyatt family, and nothing happened. There was a bunch of losers.
Nothing. That's so funny that people, even then it was hard to care about the Wyatt family. 2 years later, how anyone could even possibly care about Bray Wyatt is beyond me. Like, it honestly shocks me that there's still people who give a shit about Bray Wyatt. It's like, again, I like Bray Wyatt. It's like Dolph Ziggler. I like Dolph Ziggler. How could you possibly care about this point, though? How could anyone possibly care about these people when they're booked so badly? It just boggles my mind.
Firefly thing, like God Almighty.
The Fireflies, yeah, I'm surprised those are still around. I'm surprised people don't sit on their hands when he comes out. Surprised people don't go to the bathroom or go to the concession stand when this guy comes out for his entrance. That's what I would do. Let's see. Next question. Can you explain to me how The Undertaker is supposed to be the self-centered egomaniac, according to John Cena, that John Cena claims he is? Is he not allowed to retire now? Is John Cena being a hypocrite on purpose? Is that the point of this feud? So, like we talked about earlier, this whole thing makes absolutely no sense. If John Cena wanted the road to WrestleMania, it's like saying The Undertaker's his last choice. I wanted the world title matches at WrestleMania, but because nothing else is available and everyone else is already booked for the show, I guess I'll just go with the last person on my list. It would be The Undertaker. It hardly feels like an important match at all. I know, again, like we talked about, all the marks are eating it up. Oh, yes. Like, it's not, like, I don't care about this match. I don't know. The promo was a great delivery. What he was actually saying, though, to me, I just not a fan of it. I thought it was really, really stupid. But yeah, any other thoughts on the build of that match, RJ?
It just, like you said, it just sounds like Cena being a loser and having nothing left to do. So he's begging for the Undertaker to come out of retirement. Like, I lost the World Heavyweight title match. I lost the WWE title match. I'm a loser. I haven't done anything. Since I've come back as a part-time, I've lost every match. Barely win it. I think he beat Elias once with the Ding Dong. And now, since he has no plans, he's begging for the Undertaker, who's a loser himself because he's just lost at WrestleMania. Hasn't been seen in over a year. Okay, he came back at stupid Monday Night Raw 25th or whatever the fuck the show was and did nothing. So you're begging for the Undertaker, who's an old man, and all the fans are eating him up. Like, it just looks like makes him look like a desperate loser because he has nothing else because he's lost every other match. So now he's begging for the Undertaker.
Yeah, that's what I don't get about this either. We talk about the losers with Bray Wyatt. John Cena's a loser. He lost at Fastlane, lost at Elimination Chamber, lost at the Royal Rumble. He lost at Survivor Series. They lost at No Mercy to Roman Reigns. The guy's a fucking loser. He hasn't won a match since he faced Baron Corbin, whoop-de-doo-dah, at SummerSlam last year. Who should care? I mean, I know he's John Cena, but it's like still, the guy in storyline is a fucking loser. At WrestleMania, Undertaker is a loser. He lost to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar after going undefeated for like 20 years. Now the guy's losing 2 matches, now soon to be 3 to John Cena. And if Undertaker loses again, what's the point of bringing him back? And if Undertaker beats John Cena, he just lost to an out-of-shape 60-year-old man after losing 6 pay-per-views in a row. Like, I feel like there's no wins. There's no, like, good situation here. It's a lose-lose, which is why I feel like this feud is a mistake. But, hey, you know what? The marks want to see it, so I guess book the match. At Scarlet1 from Twitter, better pay-per-view. This is more so for me than for you, RJ, but because I just watched it. But the TNA Final Resolution 05 pay-per-view or WWE's New Year's Resolution. I think it's New Year's Revolution, 2005.
No, I think it's Resolution.
I think it's Revolution.
Shit. The shows were so forgettable, I can't even tell you.
I think the 05... I forgot what was not even on the 05 show. I think it was like a chamber match. I don't remember. Do you remember anything from that show at all?
The 2005 show?
Yeah.
It was New Year's Resolution, so it was Resolution.
I don't think so.
No, it was Revolution. Revolution. Was it 2005 when you're talking about?
05, yeah.
The Elimination Chamber match, Triple H, so forgettable. Kane vs. Snitsky, sounds terrible.
Oh my god.
Hassan vs. Lawler, terrible. Benjamin vs. Maven, terrible. Trish Stratus vs. Lita, a 3-minute match against Lita, sounds terrible. And then Eugene and William Regal faced Christian and Tomko. That show sounds deplorable.
Oh my god. So easily, Final Resolution 05. I had just watched that show and it was good, but I did not think it was better than New Year's Revolution before I heard that card, and now that card is way worse than what the TNA show had to offer. So easily the Final Resolution, or Revolution. No, Final Resolution, and then New Year's Revolution. There's a difference there. That's where the resolution came from. Anyway, so their second question, how do you feel about the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar storyline and WWE's treatment of part-time stars? So RJ and I kind of touched upon this earlier with the whole Roman Reigns thing. The whole point of this is for you to cheer Roman Reigns. That was the whole point of the Shield reunion, was for you to cheer Roman Reigns. That was the whole point of his IC title run when he was beating people every single week and having great matches, because they want you to cheer for Roman Reigns. That's the whole end goal of all this. But what they fail to realize is that no matter what they do, the guy could come out there, he could say, I got CM Punk to come back to the company. CM Punk comes out and makes out with Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring and endorses Roman Reigns. It doesn't matter. They're still going to boo Roman Reigns. Remember when The Rock came out to help Roman Reigns win the Rumble a few years ago, and they booed The Rock? Nothing's going to help Roman Reigns at this point, unless they turn him heel. So it doesn't matter what they do with this. He's going to get booed no matter what when he wins the belt at WrestleMania, and we have the fucking 5th coronation in a row of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I mean, the feud where they're trying to make it more real, I appreciate it, but you got to see what they're doing here. And it's been well done for the most part. At least it's different from what we're used to with these two. But I feel like no matter what they do with Roman Reigns, he's still going to get booed no matter what. So I feel like it's going to be a failure in the end. Any other thoughts on the feud, RJ?
It just, I understand it's their guy, but when you have him in the main event 3 years in a row, and in prominent matches every fucking year. Actually, I think it's going to be 4 years in a row because he was at WrestleMania 31. He was in the fucking main event.
Yeah, yep.
Give it up. Like, holy shit, people hate the guy. Like, if you pushed a couple other guys, and, like, obviously he get his little shine, and then, like, I think that, like, I'm surprised Charlotte does not get the same treatment Roman Reigns does. Because she's fucking champion all the fucking time. Maybe she's more, maybe because she's a woman and, like, not seen as much as Roman Reigns, but holy shit, like, she's finished in the title picture or in the main event as much as he has. And people just fucking hate him because they want to see, like, give Braun Strowman a bone. Give, like, The Miz the bone. Like, give someone, like, a little bit of room here. Like, you give the guy a main event spot 4 years in a row. Give him the championship whenever they want. People still boo him. Like, you're not, like, you could. It's just they don't understand. Like, Vince is that out of touch. He doesn't understand that. They could literally have him go out there and kiss babies and hug fat girls all day long, and no one's gonna care. No one's gonna cheer him because he sucks. And he's been pushed over he's just too overexposed. He's in the main event too much. No, they're not gonna cheer Roman Reigns. They just can't get that through their head.
Yeah, it's reached the point of no return with Roman Reigns in this company, where it's like no matter what they do, maybe they could have fixed it a couple years ago, but it's been 3 years now since he won that deplorable Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh or Philly, wherever it was. I think it was in Philly. In 2015. Nothing they have done and nothing they will do is going to change how people feel about Roman Reigns by and large. Unless they turn him heel. At this point, it's not going to work. And then they wonder why, like, no one else is over. It's like, oh, why isn't this guy over? It's because he didn't run with him when he was fucking popular, you dumb idiot. It's like with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. It's like they're over right now. I can't wait until they win another world title, like 6 months from now. And, like, nobody cares because WWE didn't strike while the iron was hot. I've always said this, but it's like, why would you wait, like, until a year after the fact? Like, oh, let's finally push Braun Strowman when he's fucking facing Mike Kanellis on the SmackDown kickoff show. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, you just gotta put the belt on him right now when he's, like, the hottest thing in the company. Braun Strowman's awesome. But the fact that people are still behind him, despite the fact they've had him lose pay-per-view after pay-per-view, honestly blows my mind. Blows my mind. The guy should not be as over as he is right now, but he is because he's fucking great. And he can make anything he's involved in turn to great. He can turn anything he's involved in turn to gold. How anyone can be involved in a feud with Kane in 2018 and not be booed out of the building is beyond me. But Braun Strowman made it work. To his credit, he made it work. Rollins he's taking shit and turning it into chicken salad over here. Chicken shit to chicken salad, whatever the fucking phrase is. But they're not going to put a belt on him until fucking 2020 because we've talked about this a million times when we were doing the Rumble predictions, but it's like, it's stupid. To me, it makes no sense.
Do you think also with Strowman, the whole mixed match challenge thing's helping him a lot as well? I think that's actually helping him a lot with Alexa Bliss. I think a lot of people are buying into that as well. So maybe it's kind of covering up his losses and not doing as well. I don't know. Them going far in the tournament, I think it has clearly they've had the highest views every time they've wrestled together, and they're entertaining. They have good segments on the YouTube channel. I think that's helped them a lot more than just being both like shit. I think that tandem has been great for his 2018 so far.
Well, looking at the bigger picture with Braun, I feel like with him, the reason why he's so over, I mean, in addition to just being great, because he not only fills, like, the monster role really well, but I feel like he can play, like, a number of characters. Like, he can be the serious badass, like the closest thing that we've ever had was Stone Cold Steve Austin, since Stone Cold himself 15 years ago. But then he can also do that, like, that great comedy character, like we see in Mixed Match Challenge. Like, it's not, like, Santino Marella comedy, but it's like he's able to show more personality and interact with Alexa Bliss, and they bring the best out of each other, and they're just a fucking great Little Big. Love Little Big. Probably not going to win the tournament, but still, the fact they've come this far is pretty great, and that's definitely helped them too. I completely agree. But yeah, I would feel like that's why, because Braun, for anyone else, like, it may not have worked. Like, Apollo Crews and Nia Jax, who cares? Like, who the fuck could possibly care? But Braun and Alexa Bliss, they're taking this, they're having fun with it, and it's obvious, too. Like, it looks like Braun Strowman is always having fun whenever he's in there, and I feel like that's why people take to him, and they cheer for him, and they like him, because they feel like they can relate to him, and that and Alexa Bliss is hot, so why wouldn't you cheer for the guy? But, yeah, you know, that's helped him a lot. Let's see. Next question here. Thoughts on Shane McMahon's leave of absence, and how long it'll actually last? I don't think it's going to last a week. I love the fact that he said he was going to be taking time off, but we're probably still going to see him on TV starting next week. So it doesn't matter that he announced his leave of absence or not. I talked about this earlier, but when he said that, the people cheered. The people went nuts. And he's like, oh, he didn't really know how to react. He's like, I'm not really used to people not liking me. It's because you've been booked like shit, you dumb idiot. It's like when you've been over as exposed as you are, it's like it's no shocker that people want you to leave TV. as badly as they do, because you've been on TV for fucking 2 years now without a break. So that's not shocking at all. But I feel like the whole point of this is for him to not be an authority figure on the road to WrestleMania, and instead he'll be doing, he'll be a wrestler. And I think it should be Owens and Zayn versus Shane and a partner. But who Shane's partner would be, I don't really know. I would love for it to be a nice name, but I don't know who it would be, to be quite honest with you. But I feel like that's the direction they're going in. So your thoughts, RJ, on Shane McMahon's leave of absence?
Couldn't come soon enough. Like I said, it needs to happen. He's just too much on TV. It won't, like you said, it'll last me. You know what? I'll give it a week. I'll say he won't be on next week's SmackDown. They'll play up his injuries from the beatdown he got taken. Then he'll be back. They'll do a tag team with him and not Daniel Bryan people. They've been feuding for like months. Why the hell would they have them team together? It makes no sense, you dumb marks. I don't know who his tag team partner will be, but I think they'll do a tag team. And just... the guy just so overexposed. He was supposed to come in for like a one-off, and then I get it, he was popular, so I think that's why they kept him around. But, like, he's on too much. He needs, like, months off of TV.
Yeah, and be brought back later on. I like Shane McMahon, but it's like when he's involved in these terrible segments with Daniel Bryan that we know aren't going anywhere, at least anyone with any sense of an IQ, know that they're not leading to a Shane McMahon-Daniel Bryan match. Like, it's people. Daniel Bryan's not coming back, so just get over it. At least not in WWE, so let's just move on. That's why this whole storyline with Bryan has been a complete waste of time. So he will be back next week, though. How long it'll actually last? Yeah, he'll be back next week, no doubt. And not selling the injuries, too. He got the shit kicked out of him by Owens and Zayn. He'll come back walking out next week like he's completely fine. Best and worst of Fastlane, we already kind of talked about it, but I thought the main event, the women's match, the second one, the tag team match, was just easily the worst of that entire show. And Nakamura Rusev was also really good, too. I forgot to mention that earlier, but I really enjoyed that opener. For the bad, like I said, the women's tag match, and that's about it. Like RJ said earlier, I think Orton and Rude lasted a little longer than it should have, and I did not like Orton winning, but whatever. Any other thoughts on Fastlane you didn't mention earlier, RJ?
Rusev and Nakamura is pretty good. Just kind of was obvious that Nakamura was winning, but besides that, the women's tag match was terrible, and the women's title match was good, and same with the main event.
Agreed. Which title changes should happen at WrestleMania? Wow, with so many titles, it's kind of hard to remember like what titles are actually being defended at WrestleMania currently. Obviously, we're getting a new Cruiserweight champion. Yep. And the Universal title's obviously changing hands. I know they're saying what title should happen, but what title changes should happen. But that
I literally think every title defended, maybe besides the SmackDown tag titles, will be changed. Even
that, I think could happen.
Maybe. I think that's more like a yeah. Everyone else, I would not be surprised if they lost their belt.
SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte and Asuka, definitely changing hands, no doubt.
Nia and Alexa, Nia will win.
Easily Nia's winning, no doubt about that. I could see Miz retaining. I could see, like, you know when we had Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky, and everyone thought Becky or Sasha was going to win and Charlotte won anyway? I think we might have that with Miz. So unless they take the belt off Miz and they put him on SmackDown, I would love that, but I don't think they're doing that, so... I would keep the belt on Miz otherwise. I like the other two. It doesn't really matter. In that case, I'm happy with whoever wins. But I feel like Miz might win that. With the U.S. title, Jinder's taking the belt. I don't want to see it, but I have a very strong feeling that's going to happen, so that's changing hands. What else?
Shinsuke's going to beat AJ.
Shinsuke's winning the belt. I'm trying to... What other titles do we have? I don't know.
Lesnar's going to lose the reigns, so that's another belt.
That's another one. So, yeah, at least, like, how many belts do we have? The 2 world, 2 mid-card, 2 tag
2 tags.
2 women's. So that's 8
Cruiserweight.
right there. Cruiserweight, that's 9. Of those belts, I think we're probably getting at least 7 title changes. At least 7. Like, we had a lot of title changes last year, too. Like, quite a few.
Yeah.
We had the Raw tag last year. The WWE title, the Universal title, US, the SmackDown Women's Championship. We had fucking 5 title changes last year. We're probably getting even more this year. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty newsworthy night to say the least. Next question: who's this from? This Mark over here at RJ_Marceau, Mr. Marceau. So your question, sir, was: has Raw officially given up on all tag teams besides the Bar? Died when I saw this question. After what Strowman did to them on Raw, tossing them out like a sack of trash, would you have Strowman find a partner or challenge the Bar by himself? So we already kind of talked about it, but in my opinion, I agree. I mean, the Battle Royal wasn't bad, but you knew Braun was winning. Oh, the fucking Miztourage are gonna eliminate him? Give me a break. Like, it's not even a thought in anyone's head. Like, you knew Braun was gonna bury all these people, which is exactly what happened. In their tag team division, they have some talent. I like the Balor Club. I like the Club, whatever. I like the Revival. They're a bunch of fucking losers. No one means anything right now. So Braun winning might honestly be for the best. Braun should be in a way bigger match at Mania, but fuck this company. They don't see how over he is, whatever. I want to see him get a partner just because I feel like him beating the bar on his own, while it is, like, it's not unrealistic. Like, it absolutely could happen. I feel like
it just buries them even more.
Yeah, it just makes them look like shit. It makes the tag team division look like complete shit. So I wouldn't do that. But we talked about earlier, like, the partners. I think Elias would make sense, and it gives Elias something to do. And I feel like Elias and Braun, a lot like with Braun and Alexa, they could have some awesome chemistry. So I would love to see that, if not Samoa Joe. But any other thoughts on your own question, Mr. Marceau?
Tag team division's a joke. That's it.
SmackDown's is a little bit better.
They have 3 teams. Well, Gable and Benjamin have potential. It's not really in the spotlight right now. But
yeah.
Raw, like, come on. The guy threw the Revival like they're a sack of trash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, good. Like I said, I love Strowman, so like I don't really have an issue with it. But like the division just means nothing.
Yeah, the division could not mean less right now. Let's see. At Brad Berdar from Twitter, for all the hate 205 Live has gotten since its inception, do you think the show has always had an awesome theme song and Hail the Crown? I thought the song they used for the Cruiserweight Classic was better than the one they have for 205 Live. For me, it sounds too cartoony, but that's just me. Any thoughts on the 205 Live theme song, RJ?
I skipped the intro, so no.
You probably don't even know what the song is, even if you heard it.
Couldn't even tell you.
Next question, the final question, actually, for today's episode. Why do I only have... Oh, no, sorry, we got 2 more questions. How would you feel about Neville making his return to WWE at WrestleMania by entering the IC title match and going on to win the Intercontinental Championship? Honestly, this would be a little cool full circle thing, because 2 years ago, he was supposed to be in that ladder match of the IC title that Zack Ryder won. I think Neville was supposed to win it before Neville got hurt. So it would be pretty cool. I would keep the match as is. You don't have to add anyone. I think the thing about with Braun entering the tag team title picture right now, I think the best part about that is that he's not going for the IC belt at Mania, because I like the 3-way as it is. Neville being a part of it would also be a great match, but I don't see that happening just because we're going to reward Neville for walking out by having him come back in Mania and win a championship. Like, I don't see that. I feel like it sets a bad precedent. I love Neville, but it's like, what, just because you didn't get what you want, you're going to walk out and expect to be brought back and win a fucking belt? Like, give me a break. I feel like that's a stupid precedent to set. So I mean, it would be cool. I'm not complaining, but I just find that very hard to believe. Would you like to see that, RJ?
No, I just keep it the same 3-way. I think adding another person just kills they have a good feud right now. Just keep it the 3-way.
Well, you don't like more multi-man matches? More the better.
No, please. No, thank you.
What about the first ever 20-man like gauntlet match?
I don't need to see that either.
What about the first ever 50-man Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia coming up?
Who cares?
Who cares? If it's not being televised, who gives a shit? If I'm not there for it, why should I care? Last question from Brad. I love the Miztourage, but I thought them eliminating the Revival from the Battle Royal on Raw was completely ridiculous, and it's convinced me that the immediate future of the Revival is not bright at all. Would a move to SmackDown help them, or would they be overshadowed by more dominant tag teams like the Bludgeon Brothers and NXT call-ups like Sanity and or Authors of Pain? So we talked about the Revival earlier, but at this point, moving them to SmackDown might be the best thing. I'm not saying they're going to win gold overnight, but at least they would maybe get some more focus over there than they currently are on Raw. I would move the Usos to Raw because they've done everything on SmackDown, and I would put the Revival on SmackDown. I would switch those 2 teams. I like the Revival. I like the New Day on SmackDown currently. I like the Bludgeon Brothers on SmackDown. The Revival could do some cool things over there, and the Usos can hopefully rejuvenate the Raw Tag Team division, because currently it's doing a whole lot of nothing right now. But yeah, the booking of the Revival, we already talked about it, but it's just been shit for months now. And just having them get tossed by the Miztourage of all tag team in that Battle Royal just spoke volumes in regards to how this company views them at the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Miztourage is a fucking joke. So once they tossed the Revival, I was beyond shocked. But yeah, move the SmackDown would be good for them, and moving Usos over would help the tag division a lot. I think moving the SmackDown maybe give them a run with the tag titles rejuvenate their career, but if not, I don't know. I don't think the company sees a lot in them. I think that's why they're flying right now, losing the Miz Taraj. Maybe Triple H can get Vince's ear, maybe, but I don't know. I don't see. I just don't see. I don't think they're gonna make them losers to perennial contenders, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if they see them as top priorities, then they would have made them top priorities by now. But hey, you know what? A move to SmackDown would be better than nothing. I'd move the Balor Club over there too, because on Raw they fucking died a death 2 years ago. The old day shit. Remember that garbage? The old day, so bad. It was awful.
I try to erase that from my memory. It's so bad.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was terrible. And that's it, Mr. Marceau. That does it for today's edition, episode 220, I believe 224 of hashtag AskGSM. As always, guys, thank you for tuning into the show. We went a little over an hour here today, but of course, the time always flies. We got Mr. Marceau here on the show for the first time in a few months. Hopefully, RJ, if you got the Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday open of WrestleMania week, maybe we get you back on for Wrestle Rant Radio for some predictions, maybe, if you're around.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We've had you on for SummerSlam now, Survivor Series, the Rumble, which was a great weekend, and now WrestleMania coming up, so looking forward to that. But before we let you go, RJ, any other thoughts in the wrestling world right now, and any other things you want to share before we let you go?
I'm just excited for WrestleMania weekend. I think it's going to be a good one, so it should be fun in New Orleans.
As of right now, which are you more excited for, TakeOver or WrestleMania itself?
That's a tough one.
See, you gotta give these tough questions. You gotta keep you on your toes, Mr. Marceau.
Damn. I think NXT would be the better show. I think WrestleMania is gonna be great as well. I don't know. I think the NXT and New Orleans show possibly the best show they've ever had, and they've had a lot of good ones. I would say I'm more excited for TakeOver because the show looks ridiculous on paper. But I think WrestleMania will be good. I don't see it floundering. I don't think it'll be too bad. I think the couple matches might not be too great, but I think NXT is going to be amazing. So I'd say NXT, but WrestleMania won't be too far behind.
It shouldn't be WrestleMania 32 level, is what you're saying. I would hope not. Not WrestleMania 32 level or WrestleMania 29 or 27, God forbid.
Yeah.
We'll soon see. But to say I'm excited for both shows is an understatement. We'll hopefully have RJ back here in the show or Wrestle Rant Radio, which one, in the next few weeks. If you guys want to send in a question, you can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. You can find me on Facebook as well at facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Leave a comment on the post. I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question on the comment section down below on this very video. I'll include it in next week's edition. So for Mr. Marceau, I am Graham GSM Matthews. We'll catch your ass down the road to WrestleMania.